My next guest, we got to mix it up. I can't jam these comics all down your throat, even though I think comics are the best people, the most interesting, have the greatest stories, are the funniest. But this dude is fascinating. This is my buddy Alfred Spatz. But as I know him, as you know him, Y.O. He is a rapper from Wyoming, the only rapper from Wyoming. And he comes from a small town with a crazy background. And we get into it on here. How do you even become a Wyoming rapper when you're living on a farm? But he does it. He's actually very talented. You could check him out. And I really enjoyed talking to him because, as I think you guys will see, you're probably never going to hear an interview like this. So here is an agricultural farm boy turned rapper, my boy Y.O.
Please enjoy this Verizon ringback tone while your party is
Ooh, I like this. It's a little loud. Symphony. Dun, 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 dun.
Hello.
Yo, what up?
What up, buddy?
What you doing, buddy? I like the old school ringtone you got.
Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of it at this point.
Well, don't do it now. It's like some classic symphony shit.
Yeah.
What's
going on?
I was just jamming to it, man. What's up with you?
Oh, nothing. I'm just kicking it, old school, you know.
Kicking it? How's the rap life going?
Oh, you know, just going around, playing some shows here and there, making some music, having some fun with it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. What it's like to be the first big Wyoming rapper. Is there anybody before you? I mean, I know you're going to be very humble and say big, but I'm proud of you. And I assume it's like trying to be a comic in Wyoming. There probably wasn't that much. Like, people always ask me who I looked up to, but there wasn't really any comedians before me in Wyoming. So as a rapper, were you the first rapper that you can think of?
I mean, no, not the first one. I knew of some before me, but I guess I always picture as like the first one to like really do anything with it, kind of.
Well, so there was like rappers, like, I mean, you grew up in a town of what, 200 people?
Yeah, definitely, maybe less.
So then, what made you want to be a rapper?
You know, I grew up on a farm. My dad was an ag teacher at my high school. I raised livestock and all that, and did livestock judging and everything, FFA and all that. And I just always secretly, like, I mean, me and my friends liked rap music. But I think I was always just like secretly in my room or like on the car, like on sports trips or ag trips or whatever, like listening to rap music and like writing the lyrics down so that I could memorize the songs. But I never really like told anybody that like I was that into rapping or like making rap music or anything, because like no one was like gonna take me seriously, you know, because it was like Burns.
Yeah, that's what I assumed when you first started telling people. Were they like, no way? Or
I didn't tell anybody. Like through high school, none of that. I graduated high school. I went to college on a livestock judging scholarship.
Wait, before we go any further, so explain that. So, like, I don't think a lot of our listeners will understand what like livestock judging is, and that and you can get a scholarship for it, right?
Yeah, you can get a college scholarship for this thing, and it's like an agriculture thing. Is that where you like show off the pig? Yeah, it's like with it's like showing livestock, and it has to do with that, like county fair things. Like stuff like that.
So you would judge, like, what animals would you judge?
Like steers, like cows, and pigs and sheep.
So
and you would judge them and pick the ones with like the best, like the heaviest muscle, like the ones that would be the best to eat, basically.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
so they just parade them out, and then so let's say it's a
Yeah.
and so then you would give it like what's the top score for a pig? Is it like
I don't like. There wouldn't be a top score. There'd be like so like how it works in a competition setting would be like there would be 4 in each class, like 4 pigs, and you would pick the best one, and then you would like place them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so it's probably like a competitive world, right? Because if you're
it's a super competitive world, and like a lot of people do it around the country, especially obviously in rural agricultural areas, but. But yeah, you can get scholarships to major universities.
Holy shit! So then
doing it.
But so then your dad like trained you at that? I'm fascinated.
Yeah. So my dad, he was an ag teacher at my high school, and like he's like the welding teacher, and he was the FFA advisor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I lived with this guy, and we like got to be taught this kind of stuff all the time.
So wait, is this a job that would like pay? Could it have, if you would have stuck with it, would it have been like a real job?
Like when I was coming up in school, when I was super young, I really, really wanted to be an ag teacher like my dad. Because as a little kid, I just wanted to be like my dad. But then like going through high school and like being one of my dad's students, made me not want to be a teacher so much anymore.
Okay.
Of agriculture, because it's kind of hard, and you got to deal with a lot of kids that you don't want to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
What was like the grossest thing you did in an ag class? Because I think like most of the country, if you're not from a rural area, I bet a lot of my listeners have no idea what the fucking ag class is. So like you're out with the animals and shit, right?
Well, like in high school, it's basically, I mean, you sit in a classroom, you're never like around the animals or anything, but you learn about different aspects of agriculture, not just like animals, but like the business side of it too. Like how to run a farm or how to, things like that. Farm stuff, man.
So now, so I love it.
Yes, but to answer your question, like if I'd have, like there's many like great jobs that you could get like in the agriculture industry, like being an ag teacher for one, like my dad was, or a coach of a livestock judging team at one of these major universities. That's definitely a job.
So wait, what is like if you were being recruited by the biggest, what would be like the Duke of livestock? Like if you were the best livestock judge?
Like when I was coming up in junior college and stuff, the best colleges that had the best livestock judging teams was like Texas, or Texas A&M, or like New Mexico always had a really good team.
Damn. That makes sense, I guess. Where there's livestock. I doubt NYU or like Florida State has a good one. Okay, so so I love this because you have a different path than I think most rappers. So you were going to college.
I think so. I think more than most.
You're going to college to be an ag teacher, and then you get to college.
So I was in college. I was actually going to college to be a teacher, but I was going to be just a physical education teacher, and be a coach and whatnot. And I was at this party in college, like I think it's freshman or sophomore year. Beginning of sophomore year, and I met this guy who wasn't in school. He was just there from North Carolina. He had moved there for some reason. I don't even know why. With his family, and he was telling me a bunch of stories about him being like a producer and like made beats with, and collabed with some famous producers and this and that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, man. That's really dope, And then so like, I felt like this was a safe place to maybe say that I was like really into rap music, And that's what I did. And he was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man. Have you ever like made any? Have you ever wrote anything?" And I was like, "No, I never have, but I've always wanted to." And he's like, "Okay." And he like right then and there, it was the weirdest thing. Like right then and there, he pulled out a CD of beats. like he's just walking around waiting to give these beats out.
And So wait, then he gave you the beats?
Yeah, he gave me this CD of beats, and he's like, "Hey, dude, these are some of my beats that I made. Go home and jam them and write something, and you can come to my crib and we can record something. I got a little studio set up or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm into it." So that night I went and I played the beats and I found one and I wrote a song to it, and it was like just a really sappy, corny love song about just like dating a girl, I guess, at the time.
Wait, can you give us a little bit of it?
Oh no, dude! This is years ago. This is a decade ago.
Oh, all right,
easily. Yeah. And I did have the CD, and I made a couple copies, but those have since been long gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went over to dude's house, and he had his computer, and we had some speakers, and just like a crappy like headset microphone. Like nothing substantial that you would ever want to record music on. And so we did it. I did it. We finished it. It took us forever, and we played it back. And like you could tell that like obviously the sound quality was not anything good, but you could tell like somehow that there was a lot of potential in my style, like in my lyrics. And I don't know. And when I heard myself back, I just kind of was like, something inside me was just like, don't ever stop doing that. Yeah. Don't ever stop making music, making hip hop music. And so I, like that year, I dropped like a couple months later, I dropped out of school, so like a semester.
So you got to go tell your parents that?
No, yeah, I stopped going to class that day.
Now you're becoming more of a rapper. That's what.
Yeah, right. I stopped going to class that day. And like was just living in my dorm room, not going to class until semester came, and just writing and recording songs on this same like dinky little setup just on my own. And then like a month into it, I found out that as a student I could just like request time in like the recording like booth in the music department.
Oh, nice.
And so I did that a couple times, but then I got kicked out because they found out I wasn't a music student at all. And so they wouldn't let me go back in there, and they just saw me like doing like rap music in there, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck this kid's doing, you know? And yeah, so I got kicked out of that, and then like when semester came, I just went back home, dropped out of school, went back home to my parents' house. Told them that this is what I was going to do, told all my like closest friends that this is what I was going to do. And they were just like, well, all right, man, like, good luck. You know, like we're here for you, whatever. We're still your friend. And then I just posted up back in my old room for like the next year and just wrote songs, recorded songs, like got a little better at it, got a little better set up. And just did it on my own, and just like through trial and error got better at kind of producing my own sound, I guess. And
so then when's the first show happen?
So like in that year I wrote the song Hometown, which you might be familiar with.
Yeah, I love it.
And I shot a video to it, and I put it on the internet, and it got like thousands of plays overnight pretty much. And like I'm sitting in Laramie like looking at my best friends like, dude, we made it. You know, like it's getting like a couple thousand in like 30 minutes, you know, and we're like, dude, this is it. I'm looking at them like, this is it, man, we made it. And obviously that wasn't the case, but then like a week later, you know, I started getting a bunch of calls from like promoters and like people who owned bars and like other venues of different kinds and stuff, and want me to come play and open up shows and play shows. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Okay. I guess. Yeah. So I started writing and recording more music. And then I got the big show with, opening up for Tech Nine and Machine Gun Kelly.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Where was that? That was in Cheyenne?
That was in Cheyenne at the Taco John's event center at the time. And that was in like, oh geez, maybe like 2014, 2000, something like that. But
So
I did that. And
that's a huge. So how nervous were you that night?
oh, super nervous, super nervous. I'm pretty sure I got way too drunk. Way too drunk, and like towards the end of my set, it might have been a little bit noticeable. But everybody really loved it, and I just kept going from there and getting bigger shows, and obviously working my way down into Colorado work, because that's where most of the music around this region happens. So
did you get to talk to Machine Gun Kelly or Tech Nine, or you were too early in the show?
So I did get to talk to them, and they were super cool. Machine Gun Kelly was like pretty sick that day, and like just was not feeling it. And Tech was like just super humble, super cool. You know, talk to me like a peer pretty much, and not like just some fan guy. You know.
Yeah. So, well, I'm sure this is like comedy. I'm sure you've had the big shows. Have you ever had a show that just was awful?
Absolutely. I have, I've played at the Redwood for like 10 people, maybe less, before. Which the Redwood Bar and Lounge.
A little bar in my hometown of Wyoming.
I've definitely played those.
Where my parents met. Another disaster happened there, but that's another story.
Oh, awesome.
Well, you ever get any hecklers or anything?
Actually, yeah. Well, no, not so much hecklers, but I have gotten like some people who've gotten a little too intoxicated and tried to like get up on stage.
Yeah.
And luckily, I had either some friends helping with security, or it was at a show where there was actual security, and people had to be escorted off stage. But and there's also been some fights that break out in the crowd. But you know, if somebody's heckling me, I generally can't hear it because of the music, so I don't worry about it.
That's perfect. So who have you met that made you the most nervous?
2 Chainz was pretty cool to meet. And that was. I mean, I'm nervous meeting all of them because I don't want I never take pictures with them. Really? I never ask. Yeah, I just because I'm too nervous to, and I don't want them to think of me as like a fanboy. You know, I just want them to think of me as like this guy's like trying to rap just like I was once.
Yeah.
And like he's just like how I was. You know, I'm just like at another level now.
Well, here, let me give you a little hint, a little tip I use. If you're like backstage and there's a professional photographer, I'll just slide over and give them like $50 and say, hey, if you ever see me close to like whoever the celebrity is, I'll say, hey, can you just because if the photographer goes, hey, can I get a picture of you guys together? Then it's like, oh yeah, what up? We'll do it, you know, instead of that's my trick of like
whatever.
Yeah, have someone else be like, hey, can I just get you guys in a quick picture? And then you just like, oh yeah, I guess whatever. So you know, that's how I've got a lot of my pictures, but.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind next time.
Because you want to have a picture of the moment. You got to meet these, work with your heroes.
Yeah, of course. You want it to look organic and not like you just ask this guy and he's like, oh, I got to take another picture.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. What's like the best after party you've ever been to? You guys.
One time I opened up for Swayze, and this was like Swayze already was really like popular already, but it was like played a mid-level show, and I just like got up on stage after the whole show and just like grabbed the microphone and was like, yo, the house party is at this address, blah blah blah, everybody that's here just come, whatever, like in the crowd, all the people at the show. And so we're back there already at the house waiting, and like nobody's like really there yet. And we're like, all right, I guess we're just gonna get drunk and do our thing, whatever. And then like 6 or 7 taxis roll up, and just mad people get out. Swayze gets out.
Oh shit, he came.
And and then he comes up, and then we just start partying.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so that was cool.
That's cool. Well, it seems like all the rappers are a lot like comedians that are just cool, because I always say you never want to meet your heroes, but I assume these guys are just going through the same shit. They respect, they know the hustle, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
How about this? What and this doesn't have to do with music or anything, or it can, but what moment in life are you the most scared?
Was I the most scared?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. I was pretty scared when my daughter was about to be born.
Yeah, I bet.
Definitely. Yeah, I was pretty scared about that. Yeah, because that's just like that's a whole new like level to life that you just can't ever begin before,
Yeah, but also a great day. But yeah, I'm sure I can't wait to have that scared, anxious feeling one day. But yeah, that's awesome. How about this? What's the craziest or weirdest thing you've ever done for money?
I mean, I guess you'd say rap.
Well,
do a live rap performance, but that's pretty weird for people around where we live. But, yeah, probably that.
Yeah,
I haven't done too much crazy stuff for money. Nothing like outlandish that I have a cool story of.
Yeah. How about this?
Work a pretty crappy job or two for some money.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's like comedy. You're just trying to do all the shit you hate to get to do what you love. So.
Yeah.
How about this? I'll hit you with a couple more, get you out of here. Thanks for doing this, man. I know you're busy. How about this?
Oh, no.
How about this? What song always makes you happy?
Oh, what song always makes me happy? God, there's so many. I listen to so many all the time. I think anything from like Chronic 2001 or like Biggie of that same time.
Yeah.
Always makes me happy.
Yeah, those are two good choices. What about like if you could open for anybody, who would you want to open for? What's the dream show?
Holy smokes. I don't know. I really just want to headline. I really just want to headline at Frontier Days one time.
Yeah, that's my dream too, buddy. You got to get in line. But no, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
For the listeners, Frontier Days is the big festival that they do in our hometown, and it would be 30,000 people. But it'd be cool because it'd be all the people that supported you that mean a lot, but it'd also be all the haters that didn't believe in you. It'd be it'd be an incredible night, dude. I definitely get that.
But as far as like, if I could open up for one, it got to be like, Drake. No, I guess Kanye. Kanye would be. Yeah, it'd have to be Kanye.
Hey, he's in Wyoming now. There's a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance. I might reach out to him.
Yeah, tell him come down to Cheyenne. All right, let me get you one more question. Do you remember what the first album or CD you ever bought was?
Oh my goodness. This is people are gonna laugh at me for this. I'm pretty sure it was either like, and these are two like totally like totally not even related. I think they're like Baja Men. They had the song like "We Let the Dogs Out."
Yeah, that shit was hot.
Like or I think it was maybe even like Kid Rock when the song "Cowboy" came out.
Yeah. Those are two bangers, man.
Bangers.
I like it.
Yeah, I was like 13 years old, like able to like decide my own style of music and like pick out what I wanted, at this age of my life.
That's funny.
And yeah,
I like it. All right, well, one last question. Where's the worst place you've ever had to sleep?
Oh, definitely. Had to sleep in my car before, for sure.
Yeah,
which is
awful.
never good. Definitely had to sleep in my car in another city because I just didn't have the funds to get back home, and it was a late night.
Yeah. No, I've been
sometimes you gotta do, yeah.
Yeah, survival. All right, yeah. How
struggling
about
hard.
One last question. Where were you the first time you heard yourself on the radio?
Oh man, I working as an assistant manager at Journeys in the Cheyenne Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just put out Hometown Part 2 and did like the video at Frontier Days and stuff. And that was like going around really big. And one of the DJs from Kiss, Casper, picked it up and hit me up and said, "Hey man, I'm going to play this and like talk about it a little bit. You cool with that?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And like I went to the radio on the store radio
mm-hmm.
and turned it up, and we sat there and listened to it.
Yeah, that has
pretty
to be
cool.
fucking incredible, right?
Yeah. It was like, man, I hope this goes somewhere so I don't have to work in the mall ever again.
Hey man, trust me, I worked in that same fucking mall, so I know the grind.
I've heard the stories.
Well, dude, I love you, man. I love how hard you're working. I'm rooting for you. I want to get in one of these videos. Let me know next time you shoot. Let me get in the video for just a quick second.
You're VIP anywhere my music takes me, anywhere, any day.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
man.
Of course, man. I enjoyed talking to you always. So keep doing your shit, man. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you. I'll hit you up when I get back to town.
Thanks, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate
later,
you.
See you, bud.